After years of silence, Gene Hackman's 3 children have finally spoken out, not to honor their father's legacy, but to reveal a shocking truth. Who was the mysterious woman who stood by him until his final moments? Why has her name never been mentioned in any stories about this Hollywood legend? The buried memories haunt his last words, and a truth that could change everything we know about Gene Hackman is about to be revealed. What truly happened, and why has the family remained silent all these years? Prepare yourself, as the following revelations are set to shock the public. Let's explore these touching stories and pay tribute to these stars on their journeys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any stories about the legends who made television history. Gene Hackman, one of Hollywood's greatest actors, left a lasting mark with his iconic roles throughout his decades-long career. Classic films like The French Connection, Unforgiven, and The Royal Tenenbaums continue to be celebrated in cinematic history. However, behind the glitz and glamour of the screen, Hackman's private life remained admirably discreet. He shielded his family from the prying eyes of the media. When he and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, passed away, their children, Christopher, Elizabeth, and Leslie, made their first public appearance to share the immense loss they were facing. Leslie Ann Hackman, the youngest daughter of Gene Hackman, born in 1966, chose a quiet life away from the spotlight. However, this time, she could no longer remain in the shadows. When she appeared in Los Angeles, her eyes sparkled with pain, but also carried resilience. In an emotional conversation with the press, she shared, "We need time to gather information from the police. None of us could have imagined that we would have to go back to that house to face everything. But yes, we will go to New Mexico." These words were not just an announcement, but a journey of acceptance, as she had to return to a home filled with memories of her parents, now left with an endless emptiness. Elizabeth Hackman, born in 1962, is Gene Hackman's second daughter. Like Leslie, she chose a private life, staying away from the noise of Hollywood. However, during this crucial time, Elizabeth could no longer remain silent. Along with Leslie and her niece Annie, Elizabeth made an emotional statement. "When we announced the passing of our father, Gene Hackman, and stepmother Betsy, he was a legend loved by millions, but to us, he was always just a loving father and grandfather. We will miss him and are deeply saddened by his loss. In the hearts of his children, Gene Hackman will forever be the greatest father." Christopher Hackman, Gene's eldest son, born in 1960, chose a completely different path from his father. In contrast to his father's fame, Christopher led a simple life, staying away from the media spotlight. Despite this, his relationship with his father was always very special. In an interview in 1984, Gene Hackman shared, "We still hug each other to this day, and I thank God for that." This statement reflects the strong and loving bond between father and son, one that never needed public display to prove its depth. Gene Hackman's passing left a significant void in the film industry and in the hearts of his loved ones. However, for his children, the love and memories of him will forever serve as invisible pillars, giving them strength on the journey ahead. The loss of both Gene and Betsy created an irreplaceable sorrow in the hearts of the Hackman family. Yet, the family quickly issued a public statement expressing gratitude and sorrow. In this statement, they emphasized that while Gene Hackman was a legendary figure on screen, to his family, he will always be remembered as a loving and devoted father and grandfather. Gene Hackman's legacy lies not only in the films he starred in, but also in the way he lived his life. Despite being a major star on screen, he maintained a humble and simple attitude in his personal life. His children know that his legacy is not just his career, but also his philosophy of perseverance and humility. Christopher Hackman shared that his father valued perseverance over fame, and this has created a solid legacy that his children are determined to protect. Gene Hackman's 3 children have decided to preserve and honor the values their father stood for. One of their first projects is the Hackman A Moving Legacy exhibition, which will showcase his standout works, rare behind-the-scenes photos, and valuable memorabilia tied to his film career. Leslie Hackman, his youngest daughter, shared, "My father didn't want to worry, but he always cherished the moments people shared about cinema. Therefore, this event will be our way of remembering and preserving those values." Betsy Arakawa may not be a household name in the entertainment industry, but to Gene Hackman, she was the most important woman in his life. A talented classical pianist, Betsy stood by Hackman for over 3 decades, witnessing his transformation from a legendary movie star to a man seeking peace in his later years. Leslie Hackman, Gene's daughter, expressed deep gratitude when recalling her stepmother. "They had a wonderful marriage. I am truly grateful to Betsy for taking such great care of my father, always attentive to his health and providing such dedicated care. I feel deeply saddened by her passing, but I will forever cherish everything she did for our family." When Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa passed away, they left an irreplaceable void in the hearts of their family and fans. However, through the heartfelt sharing of their children, Gene's legacy continues to live on in memory. Though the pain lingers, the Hackman family stands strong in preserving the flame of remembrance for the values he left behind. Gene Hackman was not only a cinematic icon with his sharp performances, but in real life, he was a husband, a lover, and a man who found peace in the love of Betsy. In the late 1980s, when his career was at its peak, Gene met Betsy, a classical pianist from Hawaii 30 years younger than him. Although the age difference and their contrasting circumstances could have been barriers, these very factors brought them closer together, deepening and solidifying their love. Gene Hackman had just come out of a marriage that spanned over 3 decades with his first wife, Faye Maltz, and it seemed like he had lost faith in love. However, Betsy came into his life like a breath of fresh air, offering Gene warmth, gentleness, and patience that he had never expected. Leslie Hackman shared, "They had a wonderful marriage. I'm grateful to Betsy for always being by my father's side, caring for him, and bringing him joy in his later years." Unlike his first marriage, when Gene was immersed in his career and often away from home, his life with Betsy was completely different. After marrying in 1991, Gene decided to reduce his workload and spend more time with his family. In 2004, he retired from Hollywood to enjoy a peaceful life with his beloved wife. This period was when Gene Hackman found tranquility and simple joys in the love he shared with Betsy. Betsy was not just Gene Hackman's wife, but also his soulmate who stood by him throughout the final years of his life. She understood him in ways few could, becoming a steady pillar of support over their 3 decades together. Even as the glow of Gene's career faded, Betsy remained by his side, caring for and supporting him. She brought not only love but also quiet sacrifice, helping Gene maintain his health and mental clarity for many years. Leslie Hackman, Gene Hackman's daughter, emotionally shared the care Betsy provided for her father in his final years. Betsy truly helped keep my father healthy. She cared for him meticulously, worrying about every meal, every sleep, and helping him maintain both his health and mental clarity for an extended period. However, after Betsy passed away, Gene Hackman's life changed completely. The woman who had stood by his side for over 30 years, witnessing all the highs and lows of his life, was now gone. The void she left behind was so immense that nothing could ever fill it. Although Gene Hackman rarely appeared in the media, those close to him noticed a noticeable change. The man who once appeared strong and tough on screen now became more withdrawn and lonelier than ever. Elizabeth Hackman, Gene's second daughter, shared, "My father was always a very steadfast man, but after Betsy passed, I knew he had changed. Not because he was weak, but because he lost an important part of his life." Although the lives of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa are no longer with us, their love story remains a timeless symbol of a strong and lasting relationship. Their love was not one of show or noise, but a deep affection that made those around them feel valued without the need for grand gestures. It was a love expressed through thoughtful actions, through small yet meaningful gestures, forming the foundation of a peaceful and happy life together. Betsy was not only Gene Hackman's wife, but also his companion in his later years. Even though both have passed away, the echoes of their happy marriage still resonate in the hearts of their family, friends, and loved ones. In the days following Betsy's death, the home that once was their peaceful haven turned cold. Their shared photographs still hang on the walls. The piano Betsy played during the late afternoons remains, and the books Gene often read are neatly arranged on the shelves. However, all of it is now enveloped in a haunting silence, a sorrow that cannot be soothed. Although the details of Betsy's passing were not made public, the family only announced that she had passed away due to health reasons. The truth shocked many when it was eventually revealed. Betsy died from Harris lung syndrome, a rare and extremely dangerous illness transmitted by rodents, causing acute respiratory failure. What was particularly frightening about this disease is how rapidly it can progress, sometimes within just a few days. No one could have anticipated that such a rare illness would take her life. Before falling ill, Betsy was in perfect health, full of energy. But within just a few weeks, the disease struck suddenly, taking away the woman who had spent her life loving and caring for Gene Hackman, leaving a massive void in the hearts of those who loved her. Gene Hackman also passed away shortly after Betsy. The final years of his life were marked by confusion due to illness. He struggled with heart disease and Alzheimer's, which disrupted his memory, causing familiar faces to become unfamiliar and conversations to become fragmented. His family believed that perhaps he no longer had the clarity to realize that Betsy was gone forever. After her death, he stopped asking about or mentioning her, instead sitting quietly by the window, his eyes distant as if searching for something undefined. Leslie Hackman tearfully shared, "The most painful thing wasn't that my father lost the person he loved most, but that he didn't recognize it. He didn't cry, didn't ask, just sat in silence, as if a part of his memory had gone with Betsy." Gene and Betsy chose a quiet life, away from the spotlight of Hollywood, savoring simple pleasures. But now both are gone, leaving Gene's 3 children with an endless void. The loss of both their father and stepmother has left an irreplaceable gap in the hearts of Leslie, Elizabeth, and Christopher Hackman. They not only lost two of their closest companions, but also had to learn how to cope with the loss of the ones who were the foundation of their family. Christopher, Gene's eldest son, shared in an interview, "We always thought we had more time. We thought we could make more memories with them. But it passed too quickly. We didn't have time to prepare, didn't have time to say all the things we wanted to say." Although Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa have passed, their legacy lives on in the hearts of their family, friends, and fans. The love they shared, the moments they experienced together, and the journey they took over decades stand as proof of an eternal love, a bond unbreakable, even by death. The Hackman family continues to live with the memories of Gene and Betsy, a part of their lives they will never forget. Gene Hackman never sought the spotlight, letting his work speak for itself. Though he retired from Hollywood, his legacy continues to deeply impact the film industry. Gene's children grew up under the shadow of a talented yet humble father. They understand that his legacy is not just in the films he made, but also in his attitude, his philosophy of perseverance and humility. Christopher Hackman, his eldest son, shared that his father always valued persistence over fame. Although Gene never wanted to call attention to his own importance, he undeniably deserves to be remembered for his significant contributions to the acting world. With this mindset, Gene Hackman's three children decided to carry out plans to preserve and honor the values their father pursued. One of the first projects was the film exhibition Hackman, A Moving Legacy, which will showcase his iconic works, rare behind-the-scenes photos, and valuable memorabilia connected to his career. Leslie Hackman, his youngest daughter, shared, "My father never wanted to worry, but he always cherished the moments people shared about film. Therefore, this event will be our way of remembering and preserving those values." This touching story makes us realize that, even in the entertainment industry of Hollywood, there are still hidden corners where family bonds are cherished and honored. If you have any other thoughts about the characters mentioned or would like to share your opinions, feel free to leave a comment. If you liked this video or have any topics you'd like us to explore, let us know. One of the prominent events to commemorate Gene Hackman is the exhibition Hackman, A Moving Legacy, which not only invites colleagues who worked with Hackman, but also offers fans the opportunity to express their thoughts and feelings about his films. The exhibition also features Gene Hackman's children, conducting documentary interviews with actors and directors who worked with him, including notable names like Clint Eastwood, Dustin Hoffman, and younger actors like Leonardo DiCaprio, Christian Bale, and Jake Gyllenhaal. These individuals, deeply influenced by Hackman's acting style, have been invited to share their reflections on the impact he had on the film industry. Gene Hackman's legacy extends beyond his iconic roles on screen. Few know that behind his powerful and sharp image, he was a strict yet loving father. Hackman always prioritized family and valued integrity in his relationships with his children. Preserving his legacy is not just about protecting his reputation, but also about spreading the values he lived by throughout his life. Although he retired from Hollywood long ago, his influence continues to resonate, and his loved ones are carrying on the story of a dedicated artist and a man steadfast in his principles. Elizabeth Hackman, Gene Hackman's second daughter, recalls how her father was always strict yet filled with love. He taught his children valuable life lessons through stories. The lessons from his life in Hollywood and the roles he played have remained ingrained in their minds. When Gene portrayed a cop in The French Connection, he taught them about fairness and responsibility. When he played a villain in Superman, he explained the dangers of power and corruption. These lessons continue to live on in the hearts and minds of his children. With deep respect for the values of hard work and dedication, the Hackman family has decided to establish a scholarship fund for young talents in the acting industry. Christopher Hackman shared that his father always believed in the importance of hard work and commitment, acknowledging that his path to Hollywood was never easy, and he always valued those with genuine passion. This scholarship fund not only provides financial support, but also offers opportunities for younger generations to learn from industry veterans who were inspired by Gene Hackman. Although the Hackman family has successfully preserved his legacy, they couldn't escape the intense public scrutiny following his passing. False stories, sensational headlines, and the media's invasive attention surrounded the Hackman family. Elizabeth Hackman couldn't hide her frustration when reading inaccurate articles about her family. "They don't know anything about us, yet they write as if they are part of our family." Both she and her sister Leslie, despite being familiar with the entertainment industry, felt exhausted by the unwanted public attention. Christopher Hackman, the eldest son, chose silence, focusing on shielding the family from the false rumors. Despite facing grief and public pressure, the Hackman family continues to uphold the values and legacy that Gene Hackman left behind. His legacy is not only in the classic films he starred in, but also in the lessons of perseverance, fairness, and family love. The next generations of the Hackman family are carrying forward the story of a legend and protecting the values he cherished throughout his life. Although Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa have both passed away, the Hackman family continues to face many questions from the public and the media. One of the big questions is whether the family will hold a public memorial or keep everything private. While there is no official answer, sources suggest that Hackman's old friends, such as Clint Eastwood and Dustin Hoffman, have reached out to offer help in organizing a memorial event. However, whether this will actually happen remains a mystery. Despite the external attention, the Hackman family is determined not to turn their grief into a sensational story. Christopher Hackman, Gene's eldest son, has always been the pillar of the family, but this time he feels suffocated under the pressure from the public. A close friend of his shared that Christopher always wants to control everything, but this time, he couldn't, and that made him feel helpless. Elizabeth Hackman, Gene's daughter, chose to stay away from the media to protect her father's image. She feared that articles and headlines would distort the image of her father that she has always cherished. Leslie Hackman, who has always tried to share the values her parents taught her, also felt hesitant about appearing before the public for the first time. She sighed and said, "My father wanted us to be strong, but sometimes I just want to escape from it all." Although each member of the Hackman family faces loss in their own way, one thing remains unchanged: their unwavering determination to do everything for their father. Elizabeth Hackman said, "My father never cared about fame. He only cared about work and family. If we're going to do anything, we should do it for him, not for the public." This reflects the Hackman family's commitment to preserving Gene Hackman's legacy without seeking attention. They will hold memorial events out of love and respect for him, not because of pressure from the outside world. Eventually, the Hackman family found peace after the intense public attention. They were no longer the shining star they once were, and the excitement of their appearances faded. Instead, They found comfort in simple moments, like family meals, long evenings of conversation, or just sitting together in silence. Elizabeth, who had once stayed away from social media, now found the strength to face reality. She opened her father's old letters, listening to the recordings he had sent. Strangely, instead of hurting her, these moments made her feel closer to him than ever before. Christopher Hackman, who had always tried to protect his family from external pressures, gradually began learning how to face his own pain. One day, while sorting through his father's belongings, he stumbled upon an unsent letter. The words in the letter made Christopher realize that moving forward didn't mean leaving the past behind, but rather keeping it with him. The letter read, "One day I will no longer be here, but that doesn't mean I'm gone. As long as you remember me, my stories, the lessons I taught you, and the love I gave you, I will always be there in every step you take." Leslie Hackman, who had always tried to keep everything balanced, eventually allowed herself to express her emotions. One evening, she shared with Elizabeth, "Do you think that if we keep suppressing our feelings, we'll lose what Dad wanted for us?" These words were not just an expression of sorrow, but also an acknowledgement that sometimes facing our emotions is necessary to continue living with the legacy that our parents left behind. Although Christopher Hackman tried to protect his family from public attention, he could not deny the immense pressure from public opinion every day. Genuine fans expressed their condolences for Gene Hackman, with thousands of social media posts memorializing him. One fan wrote, "Gene Hackman wasn't just an actor, he was a storyteller, a legend, a part of our lives." While the public continued to speculate, the Hackman family knew that their journey was their own, not to please the public, but out of love and respect for their great father. Although the Hackman family has lost their father and partner, they continue to share stories about him with pride and reverence. Every time they gather, memories from their childhood, of the times he was strict with them, are brought up as a cherished part of their lives. Elizabeth Hackman shares, "We may have lost our father, but we haven't lost the family he built, and that is the most important thing." Gene Hackman not only left behind a cinematic legacy, but also a family legacy, a lasting bond that nothing can break. With the belief that their father's legacy must be preserved, Gene Hackman's children decided not only to keep the memories alive, but also to carry out significant plans to honor him. Christopher Hackman, who once thought his father's career was a thing of the past, has now planned to organize an exhibition about Gene Hackman's life and career. He wants the exhibition to be more than just a tribute to a film legend. It should also be an opportunity for people to understand the real man behind the screen. Elizabeth Hackman, though not a public figure, decided to write a book about her father. This book would not only tell the story of a Hollywood star, but also of a father, a humble man who was exceptional in his own way. Meanwhile, Leslie Hackman, with her experience in the media industry, teamed up with a director to create a documentary about Gene Hackman. She wanted the audience to remember not just his remarkable performances, but also the man who created them, a resilient man who, despite life's ups and downs, remained steadfast. They didn't do this to respond to the media or for the public's approval. They did it for their father. This is how they express their respect and love for him, and that is the most important thing. Loss is never easy, but even in the darkest days, they realized that no matter how much pain they felt, they still had to move forward. Gene Hackman always wanted them to keep living, and now his children are continuing that journey, not to replace him, but to keep his legacy alive within them. Although Gene Hackman is no longer with his family, his legacy will never fade. Each of his films, every story he told, and every moment shared within his family will live on in the hearts of his fans. His legacy is the story of enduring love and an unbreakable family bond. The Hackman family knows that Gene Hackman's life was not just a cinematic legend, but also a testament to a life full of meaning. Let's cherish the values Gene Hackman brought and continue writing the story he began. Truly great people never disappear, even when they leave this world. Thank you for watching. If you found this video meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to explore more inspiring stories together. See you in the next video.